Welcome back. Now, we've had the third major test for the Democratic contenders vying for the presidential nomination in the United States, and it was a big test for a number of them, including Bernie Sanders to see if he could hold up the momentum, but also Joe Biden, his first real test in a state with that ethnic diversity that he says will come through to support him in the election. And so if we look at those results, we can see about 60% so far have been counted in Nevada, and what we will see as Bernie Sanders comes through, he has a convincing lead already with 46%. Joe Biden coming through with 19.6%, Pete Buttigieg 15.3%, right nipping at his tail. Elizabeth Warren 10.1% and Amy Klobuchar 4.8%. Now, what's really significant here, as you can see, Joe Biden needed a much stronger result here than what we've seen. He did very poorly in Iowa, but with those issues with the caucus counting, it didn't have the impact it could have had. He didn't get any more momentum in New Hampshire, but this was the really key time for him to pull ahead. He's not dead in the water just yet, but certainly didn't pull ahead like he could have. Pete Buttigieg, this was a significant test for him as well. He's been polling extremely poorly with Hispanic voters and also black voters, and so this was his chance to see if he could pull ahead in that area. What we have seen with those Hispanic voters, though, is that they resoundingly came out for Bernie Sanders, 44%. And in all those polling booths around Nevada with strong Hispanic populations, they came out to support him. Joe Biden also as well, but Tom Steyer, you can see pulling ahead, a candidate who's been polling really poorly right across. He didn't even qualify for the last debate, managed to pull ahead on that basis as well. And this is where Pete Buttigieg, it's really coming to show just how poorly he's doing that in that area. This could be key, especially in South Carolina. That is where Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden will be testing their support with black voters as well. That will be Joe Biden's really last chance to be considered a serious contender going forward. And this has been an ongoing issue and will be absolutely key for Super Tuesday, which will be the first time we see Michael Bloomberg test his numbers as well. And so that's going to be the big test there. So if we can move on to the next slide as well, we'll look at how these numbers are falling right across the Nevada caucus results. We can see the current delegate state of play. That is Bernie Sanders leading, Pete Buttigieg pulling behind. And this is a candidate that really wasn't making as much noise in the lead up as the big contenders like Bernie Sanders. So this is really significant, but he is that more moderate contender. And so this is going to be really key going into Super Tuesday. We can see Elizabeth Warren too also not faring as well as she could have, but the time really is ticking for Joe Biden to get his support across the line. So we'll be following that. This is what our colleagues at B Sky had to say about the Nevada caucus.
Thank you. Senator Bernie Sanders is a long way from winning the Democratic Party nomination, but the question now is who can beat him?
And let me introduce to you the next First Lady of the United States, Jane Sanders.
He and his wife Jane had already headed from Nevada to Texas, which will vote the week after next.
In Nevada, we have just put together a multi-generational, multi-racial coalition.
He polled twice as well as his nearest challenger, former Vice President Joe Biden, who still thought that was worth celebrating.
You know, the press is ready to declare people dead quickly, but we're alive and we're coming back and we're going to win.
Nevada isn't big enough to deliver a knockout blow to any of the also-rans, and until some of them quit, it won't become clear which of the survivors is best placed to challenge Senator Sanders. It's hard to see a way back for either of the remaining female candidates, Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar. Pete Buttigieg wants to be seen as the moderate alternative and sounded a warning.
Before we rush to nominate Senator Sanders in our one shot to take on this president, let us take a sober look at what is at stake for our party, for our values, and for those with the most to lose.
Mike Bloomberg entered the race so late he wasn't even on the ballot in Nevada, but the former New York mayor's enormous personal wealth means he's in it for the long run. But the Democratic Party is facing up to the reality that a far-left candidate will have to appeal to America's centre ground if they're to win back the White House.